Hey everybody, Shay here, and in this episode I want to go through the Omnibus collection that was released not even recently, I think within the last 2 years of the Hellboy collection, and I want to talk about how the original trades sort of fit in with the Omnibuses. It's research I had to do to see what was in what and see if I was missing anything along the way. And the other part of this is going to be, I guess, a vlog horror story of why I had to buy, did I have to? No, I did have to buy, I love Hellboy. Why I bought the Omnibus collection. Because of something that sort of happened in this basement, in fact, a bit of a water leak, and I'll get into that in a second. It's very disappointing. It was a heart-crushing moment. So here we go. So I've got Hellboy, the Wikipedia page, open for those who aren't familiar with Hellboy. I'm not sure who's not familiar with Hellboy nowadays. There's been 2 feature films with Ron Perlman, and there's the new one that came out with David Harbour. And so Hellboy, as a character, it was introduced in 1993 in the San Diego Comic-Con issue 2. And from there, he sort of just picked up popularity and started appearing in crossovers and obviously his own series with Dark Horse Comics. The text is sort of small on the screen there, but that's pretty much the summary of it. For the premise, for those of you who don't know like the deeper, like what Hellboy is, I'm gonna just read the second paragraph here because it really talks about the character and let you know like why it's like a simple character that's just like, it's rooted in some really fundamental storytelling things, which is why I think it is as popular as it is. Obviously the art also by Mike Mignola. He's an amazing artist. He's got this very high contrast style. I'm sure that contributed greatly to the success of Hellboy. But anyways, so Hellboy is a well-meaning half-demon or Cambion whose true name is Anung Rama, and upon his brow is set a crown of flame. That's part of the Hellboy mythology. It's in the movies, the first movies, where there's like this prophecy that he's going to turn back, he's going to go to hell, and then the big horns come up and the big flaming crown happens on his head, he becomes a ruler of hell, that sort of thing. So but he sort of like offsets that. I'm already going off the script. I had this thing up so I could just read it. I can't do it. I get so excited about Hellboy. Anyways, so okay, let me revert back to this. So Hellboy was summoned to Earth from hell as a boy on October 5th by Nazi occultists, and then he was actually found and raised by Allied forces, in particular Professor Trevor Brutholm. I know there's a way to pronounce this, and Broomholm or something. It's like, I think this right here, this word right here. Anyways, if you don't pronounce it like this, I'm pretty sure it's like something like Broomholm. Anyways, he also formed the United States Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, the BPRD, and that's in the movies. There's a comic series that also collects a bunch of stories from the BPRD. I think they're really good as well. Anyways, so Hellboy grew up into a large red-skinned adult with a tail, horns, cloven hooves, 4 feet, and an oversized right hand made of stone, the right hand of doom. That's tied to the prophecy of him going to hell. It's in the movie. Just watch the first movie. You'll kind of get the premise of Hellboy. It kind of touches into the whole idea of nurture versus nature, which is kind of, it's like a fundamental sort of storytelling concept. And then the premise from the third paragraph there of the series itself, Hellboy works for the BPRD, an international non-governmental agency, and for himself against dark forces including Nazis and witches, in a series of tales that have their roots in folklore, pulp magazines, vintage adventures, Lovecraftian horror, and horror fiction, which is why I love Hellboy so much. I'm a fan of all of that. So that's it for that. I want to talk about now is this stuff right here. So 2 years ago, September 13th, 2017, news dropped that Dark Horse was going to release an omnibus collection. I always buy these things. I'll switch the camera in a second. And so I try to keep up with those because in particular, Dark Horse is particularly bad about this, is that they'll release stuff and then it just goes out of print. And then it's out of print, and so you have to find them in used bookshops, which is where I found most of these copies. Thankfully, I bought the other ones that I didn't have afterwards online, and then something happened that destroyed a couple of my copies, and then I tried to buy them again. Can't find them anywhere online. Of course, I could pay like quadruple the price for them now off of eBay or something like that, Amazon, but I don't want to do that because for that, I might as well turn to the omnibus collections. I don't have that many omnibus collections. I think this might be the first omnibus I've ever bought. I just like smaller books. They're just, I don't know, I feel like they're sort of easier to handle and stuff like that. So I looked into, okay, I'm finally going to replace my Hellboy collection. I can't find any of these trades online. I need to I gotta find out if there's an omnibus collection. Thankfully, 2017, Dark Horse releases these, and they're actually pretty neat. They just came in last week, the entire stack of them. There was it was like 2 weeks ago, actually 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was this awesome deal, and it was like right when I was thinking of all of this awesome deal fell on Twitter, which is like for all Canadians, all Hellboy trades 40% off at Indigo Books. At that point, I was like, wow, that seems like a convenient timing. Thank you, fate. And so, of course, I jumped onto Indigo right away, Indigo Chapters website, and I ordered all of it. I replaced all of my copies because I couldn't make sense of what was in what. And then the compulsive part of me, I'm not going to buy like Omnibus 1, 2, and 4 and then not have 3 because I have trades that make up that. Anyways, it was a big confusing thing, literally. Listen, I had to make a spreadsheet to find out what the hell was in what and what I was missing, and because I got so confused. I'm not a fan of publishers who confuse when it comes to trade collections and stuff, and when things go out of order, which is what it looked like was happening with these books. But then this article sort of goes into why that, how they kind of designed the books, and it's actually pretty neat. And so I wanted to load this up and talk about it a little bit. We have in 1994, it gives you a little bit of history. Mike Mignola released the first Hellboy series, Seed of Destruction, and introduced the world to the right hand of Doom, the Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, and one of the most iconic comic book characters, I agree, and universes of all time. I also agree. One of the other reasons I love Hellboy is not so much even the character. That character, again, is very simple, very simply written. The stories are very simply told. It's very core to oral tradition storytelling from my perspective, but it's the world building. All of these little stories and all of this like folklore integration really starts to develop a really rich tapestry of the Hellboy universe, and that's what kind of brought me to Hellboy. I didn't even think I was a huge fan of Hellboy until I started looking around. I'm like, okay, I have all the trades. I have all of the novels. I haven't even read all of them yet. I have Hero Clicks. I have a Hero Click collection. Listen, I don't even know where I got this. I think I might have gotten it at some convention or something. I don't remember. I haven't opened it. Don't want to. And so I'm obviously a fan. And when I was putting this video together and rechecking all of the trades and how they lined up and what I was missing, I realized, no, I've got everything. So I'm going to talk about it in a video, just in case people are confused out there and they don't know what they can get to replace what's still standalone, etc., etc. I'll go through that in a second. So for more than 20 years, Mignola and a host of celebrated writers and artists have chronicled the adventures of Hellboy, facing his supposed destiny as Beast of the Apocalypse, and explore the mysterious backstories of BPRD agents, including Professor Trevor Broomhome and Abe Sapien. Abe Sapien is also an awesome character. I'll talk about him in a separate video because, man, he's okay. Now, for the first time ever, Dark Horse Books will publish Mike Mignola's award-winning Hellboy stories in chronological order. That's the key piece you got to take away from this omnibus collection. In chronological order, with the Hellboy Omnibus collection creating the definitive reading experience for Hellboy fans and an ideal entry point for new readers. It's true because it's all here. And I mean, if you can land a deal like I landed, 40% off is crazy for an omnibus collection. It literally replaced my entire trade collection. It's crazy. Although I do love my original trade collection. I'm really sad. I'll get into that in a second. So with some short story collections, there's also 2 omnibus that collected a bunch of short story stuff. That got really confusing. That's actually what almost made me not buy any of this. I got so confused. Anyway, some great creators in here. Gabriel Bad and Fabio Moon are awesome, by the way. 2 twins, I believe, twin brothers. Cool indie work out there. Great artists, great storytellers as well. Different video. Let's move on. So yeah, chronological order. That's the big takeaway. It talks about the collections here. We got Volume 1, Seed of Destruction. It takes the same name as the what kicked off the entire series. And trade number 1 collects a bunch of other stuff. I'll get into that. These were all released in they're very quick. So when you look at the dates here, you're looking at available in stores June 2018. We got spring 2018, fall 2018, fall 2018 for volume 3, then volume 2 for stories, fall as well, and then fall as well for Hellboy in Hell. Now, if I had to speculate, this was all because the 3rd movie was in development for release in 2019. They wanted to get the entire collection out there because this would be back in pop culture, right? So that people might be interested in it. These books would sell well on a shelf at kind of a normie bookshop, if you will, and people would just pick these up because they look great. They really do. So from here, I went into this site right here. This is where I had to figure out what was in what, all of these stories. This is a great site. It's a hellboy.fandom.com wiki, and so it breaks down all the trade paperback collections, what's in all of these books. They'll tell you if there's a library edition for them, etc., etc. And so I created a spreadsheet to break down like where all of these single stories, these kinds of things, all start splitting up in all the collected editions. So let's go through this first, just so you can get a sense of how these were broken down. I believe when these were by publication order, and so these would get so these stories would be released in floppy issues, single issues, whatever, or here and there or whatever. And then when there was a good packaging, when there was enough to make a trade, they would collect them. And so this is in, I believe, as close as it could be in publication order. So we got Volume 1, Volume 2, Wake the Devil, Volume 3, The Chained Coffin, and others. This is where it starts to collect a bunch of sprinklings here from here and there. So the publication order, if I recall, is a little bit off here because they had to go back in the past to grab some stuff. Anyways, and then we got 4, Right Hand of Doom. This also does a bit of like the story collection stuff. And then we have The Conqueror Worm, which starts telling more of the main plot again. The Third Wish and Islands, so Strange Places. The Troll Witch and others for Volume 7, Darkness Calls 8, The Wild Hunt. This starts to get into some of the core mythology. I would be spoiling it if I said what that sword was. For people who don't know, it kind of caught me off guard because I was like, how are you going to put these two pieces of fiction together? This is crazy. So anyways, some interesting stuff. I don't know if I mean, it'll be spoiled if you go to the Wikipedia page and read. But in any case, then we have 10, The Crooked Man and others. That also starts collecting a couple mini-series that were out there, like The Crooked Man, a couple short story, single one-shots here and there. Bride of Hell and others, so a couple kind of collected pieces here and there. The Storm and Fury, things start to go crazy. The sword in his hand. So again, I don't want to spoil anything. And then we have Hellboy in Mexico. I know nothing about Hellboy in Mexico. I sort of kind of fell off right around this time, 2012. I got this trade, read them all, and then I sort of had this, like, I started going to BPRD. There's these one-shots right here, these original graphic novels that came out as well. So House of the Living Dead, The Midnight Circus, and Into the Silent Sea. I didn't own any of these, and so kind of excited because they get collected in this omnibus collection. Then we have some uncollected Hellboy, which I've never heard of. We have some art books, which aren't collected anywhere. I'm sure these art books are just awesome coffee table books. They got to be amazing. Out of continuity, Hellboy collections, The Weird Tales. Thankfully, I do own these, and these were not collected, so yay. And then we have this one, crossover, Masks and Monsters. So we have the Batman, Hellboy, Starman collected together. This was a mini-series, and the Ghost and Hellboy mini-series. And thankfully, I've got those. So we'll talk about those in a second, when I can have a full screen there. Theoretically, I have the entire collection based on this wiki page. We have the humor publication, so Hellboy for children, essentially. Then we have Hellboy in Hell. So I didn't buy any of these. These were 2014. I wasn't reading. I knew this was around. And this sort of like, I started BPRD. I knew there was a Hellboy in Hell thing, so there was kind of I knew kind of where the story might have been going. But I didn't buy anything because I wanted to read things in continuity, because then I knew that there was a BPRD Hell on Earth that then starts up, and then so this is where all of this turns into just BPRD, massive collections. BPRD actually started way earlier than I remembered. Wow, 2003. This was an ongoing series for quite a while. I think this also stopped. Yeah, so there you go. So this sort of stops off when they start doing these like back in history stories. I stopped reading right around here. Plague of Frogs. Anyways, and then from here we ended up getting Hell on Earth. And so 2011, it starts this storyline. I do own some of these. Some of these got damaged as well. And so I stopped buying at 3. I think I did read this though. Anyways, but the point is, these got collected. These got omnibus collections, hardcover at that, also 40% off. Guess what else I bought? So I'll talk about that in a different video. I haven't even read them, but I would like to unwrap them just to take a look at them and see what the art's like. The artist change. It's not Mike Mignola. I think almost always, right? It's always a different artist. I forget the artist's name. Sorry about that. And then we have Devil You Know. I didn't know, what is this one? 2018. These are new. I didn't know about these ones. Lobster Johnson, also great. I owned 3 of these. But I don't think these get collected, and these are really hard to get as well. God damn it, I wish these weren't so hard to get. And then we have Ape Sapien, of course, which got collected into hardcover editions. First hardcovers I've ever bought too. and I'll unwrap those on a separate collection as well, separate video as well. We have Witchfinder. I have these first two completely destroyed. I'll talk about it at the end of this video. I'll show you what happened. Like these got it the worst, and these are so hard to find. So I mean, there's an omnibus collection out there, so I'll eventually get it one day. These weren't on sale, I don't think, so I didn't pick them up. Then we have a bunch of these like little one shots and stuff. So with that, let's turn off the camera. Let's take a look at these collections, and I'll go into what's what. All right, so first up, of my collection, there's these two right here. So thankfully, these had the plastic on them, so these did not get damaged, and thank goodness for that, because these would have been horribly difficult to find. I mean, they're not collected in anything else, so yeah, I would have been really disappointed. Weird Tales is out of continuity stuff. They're just like other artists and creators and like writers that will tell stories in the Hellboy universe. These were a lot of fun. I recommend them, of course. And then there's Masks and Monsters, which we talked about a little bit. Get the glare off there. So this is the one where it's does a team up with Batman and Starman, and then the other collection is with Ghost, which I think, oh man, correct me if I'm wrong. See, I forget where the Ghost character comes from, but I have a sinking suspicion the Ghost character actually originates as a public domain character, and I forget who does it. Like I forget everything about this. I'm gonna reread this because I don't remember who Ghost is, but I remember something about the lore like that. So anyways, thankfully these ones are preserved forever. I did learn, and I recommend that even with trades, because some people won't put, you know, because I'm in a basement, I'm like, I'm never gonna have a flade. I literally put floors in this basement that are flood protection floors. Like there's like this cork board you can put under your carpet that actually has these like I don't know what the hell they're called, but anyways, it like lifts it off of the cement, so that if there's ever a flood, the water will actually go between like 1 inch. It's raised 1 inch off of the concrete with these like little teeth sort of things. So the water will actually flow under this board before it's maybe gets through the seams of the board and then hit your carpet, and then you start having the mold issues and stuff. It's just it's just a better way to sort of protect yourself from that kind of damage. And then of course that moisture won't go into anything that's sitting on your floor. I've got these shelves behind me which are also off the floor by about 2 inches, so I thought they were safe. But I have a window well up in that corner that started. I had a driveway got completely redone with cobblestone, and the cobblestone kind of was not packed right, so it sort of leaned into the window well filled up with water. I started hearing something that sounded like an aquarium behind me, and when I looked I was like, oh my god, my window well was full, and it was just this little seam in the window that was just the couple little drops coming, but I only noticed like, I don't know, a week later, I don't even know. So at that point I was like, something doesn't smell right. I have board games all the way up there, and one of the board game boxes was completely soaked, so it took most of the damage. But then a little bit of that trickle went down the side of one of these seams, one of these middle seams here, landed in my Hellboy box, and then all the Hellboys on the tail end of it just soaked it all up. I'm actually going to show you what this damage looks like. And so unfortunately, I don't know how hard these are to get at this point, but here, oh, the smell. I feel like I've been saving these to do some video or to talk about it, but I got to get rid of them because there's like mildew on them now. You see that? Oh man, they're really bad. Oh no, my hands are all dusty. Here's the thing, the pages won't even open. It's literally a brick. So you hear that? There you go. Completely wrecked. So oh man, this is really smell. I'm not putting these anywhere near the other books. I mean, obviously the rippling, I mean, that's the least of it. If they at least open and I could read them still, great. But yeah, great stuff though. Let's flip to a nice. So you know what I might do? I'm part of this page. I might try to like preserve. Yeah, here, check. Get some of this. So I mean, the art is just great though. Look at this. So if I can preserve some of these, I'll flip through whatever I can, and then try to rip the pages apart, and then I'll maybe, I don't know, protect them somehow. I need to wash my hands before I touch any other books. Excuse me. Sad thing of all of that is that almost all of my books have the plastic covering on them. I don't know why I didn't have my Hellboy books in plastic. They're literally like less than 10% of my less than 5% of my books don't have plastic. I'm an idiot. So that happened. Okay, so here's the first. I haven't even flipped through these yet because I wanted to do them on camera. I wanted to take a look at what the introductory page and stuff like that looked like. But that's the cover of the first omnibus for the short story collection, Volume 1. I mean, the shipping, pretty good. I do get really finicky about the condition of my books. And I will say some of them took some damage. Some of the hardcovers took some dings where I was like, God damn it. You know, like you buy these books, you want them in pristine condition. You don't want them mangled because of shipping. Anyways, so let's take a flip through. I wanna just check out. I like, oh man, it's just because it's so simple. And like the way, even the design of these books is so simple. Watch me rip something by accident, but look at that. That's just the first page. Just this solid, high contrast ink drawing with, you know, black, white, and red, and it's just, it looks so good all the time. As there's always a very, very clean black and with white text is generally the way to go. So they have a bunch of stuff here. Duncan Figueredo, that's the name. He's part of BPRD, right? He's the artist. Gabriel Ba and Fabian Moon are in here. Dave Stewart's also great. Yeah, a bunch of great guys in here. So let's take a look. So does it get straight into it? Okay, it gives you the glossary there of all the short stories in here. I'll talk about where these come from. Pancakes. If I recall correctly, Pancakes was one of the first stories that ever gets released. It's Hellboy as a kid and he gets pancakes. I don't like pancakes. And it's very short. It's like a 2-page thing, and then he finishes the pancakes, of course. I love it. Anyways, it's just so fun. It's so fun. Okay, and then there you go. So I'll flip through some of these. Just this like really nice art style that, I mean, there's definitely what I would call clones out there, people who have been very influenced by this design. Dave Stewart's always been, well, most of the time, I think always, Mike Mignola's colorist, and so you really get these, like, you get these nice flat colors that tell the scene. Here, let's flip to another. Let's flip to the page here. Like, there's, I mean, just high, solid color red there, just to get, you know, just to make him pop off the page. The backgrounds are these like nice muted colors. They're muted, but they feel perfect all the time on the page. It's crazy. It's not like Mike Mignola. They took some liberties here, and these are just stories that came from here, came from there. This is Mignola. You can tell right away. There you go. Simple art style, high contrast. There you go. Just super, super slick, man. Everything just looks like, this is why I like art books for Hellboy. Oh, they just got to be awesome to look at, man. One of my favorite art styles easily is this right here. So yeah, okay, so the collected edition is pretty much, I mean, it's all the short stories put together. It's a hefty book. I'll tell you right now, the pages are I mean, standard page quality. They're not any more thicker, or they're just standard comic book page quality. Let's see what's the bonus. Oh, I love the smell of new comic book as opposed to, I don't know, mold infested comic book that I've been smelling for the last 20 minutes. Yeah, let's get to the end here. All right, this is the great part of getting an omnibus, though, is you do get like bonus little things like that. You got like a sketch page there of baby Hellboy, and then the artist kind of going back and forth about some stuff. Yeah, you have some breakdown art too. This stuff is great. Breakdown pages, some sketches for characters, some breakdowns of pages. But just so you know how it sort of like plays out, these are like bonus content for things. Breakdown of pages, thoughts. Yeah, look at that. Look at this. Oh man, look at that right there. Just look at that art. Oh, so good, man. Anyway, so this first collected edition contains stuff from The Chained Coffin. There's one story from this book in here. Again, thankfully this one didn't get damaged because of the plastic. Woo-wee. We got 3 stories from The Right Hand of Doom. So there's Pancakes, The Nature of the Dead, and King Void come from 4. We have trade number 7, Pen and Gallon, I think is how you pronounce it. It's like a vampire with the head pops off of the body. It's like, I forget what lore that comes. Germanic? Anyways, no, Japanese, I think. And it's what I have the 2 animated cartoon series. They're also really neat. The animated movies for Hellboy, they actually took pieces of a couple different stories and then they threaded them together so that they created a cohesive narrative. That was pretty neat. But there you go, the Troll, Witch, and Others. So the Pen and Gallon comes from this one. That she features in the oh no, I feel so, I just Wash my hands. So, you know what happened here? Someone didn't put a plastic on the book. This is for 10. There's one story in this one. The Crooked Man, I believe, comes from this. Yeah, Crooked Man 1 to 3 comes from trade number 10. Unfortunately, for fuck's sake. I'm never touching that again now that I've done this video. And then we have 2 stories that come from 11. This is one of the newest purchases I got. I recall reading it. Now I can probably salvage some art pages from here. I would frame some of the art. If I could pull some of the art out of this, I'm gonna frame some stuff. Might as well. I don't want to go to complete waste. But this smell is really killing me. Anyway, so I shouldn't have thrown these on the ground, but because they're gonna come up again. But I'm going to, because I don't want them near me right now. Damn it. So that's yeah, there's one from there, and then there's 6 stories. There's 6 stories from in here, I guess the tail end, which I haven't read. So there's a good chunk of this book that I haven't read that comes from Hellboy in Mexico. And then we have volume 2, and look at the contrast on that cover. Oh, so good, man. I've never seen this art. I don't know where it's from. So Mike Mignola and others. So another stack. This particular volume is all over the place. With this one, with volume 1, it looks like there's at least some continuity of what trades the short stories came from. So trade 3, trade 4, 4, 4, 4, 7, 10, 11, 11, 11, and then the entire Hellboy in Mexico. So, but theoretically, all of these are theoretically in continuity, and maybe that's why it was done, because they were jumping around all over the place with the earlier trades, because they would tell Hellboy as a kid in the 40s and 50s, and then they would tell stuff in the later years and stuff like that. So, oh, nice. Oh, good. The smell of good, healthy comics. Okay, so let's take a look at the inside of this one. So we got a nice, get the clear out of there, but there you go. Almost Sin City-esque right there, right? Like both of these, both Frank Miller and Mike Mignola, they had that style, man, in the early 90s. Same trade dress at the beginning, breakdown of all the stories. There's some nice consistency here. We got typical Mike Mignola right there, art. There you go. It'll be distinct. As soon as you see it, you'll see it. And then anything you see that's like it but not Mike Mignola, it's people aping the style, which is fine. It's fine if you can pull it off. It's fine. There's some indie stuff out there that does art that it's in the spirit of Mike Mignola, and it's freaking it's good looking stuff, man. But let's see that it's just really nice, just a nice approach to line work and character design. Stuff just sticks out. This is the Baba Yaga story. This I remember this one pretty distinctly. Anyways, yeah, some nice arts here. Some painterly stuff here. Let's take a look. Let's showcase some of this. So there you go. Still simple, still, you know, but it still has that very sharp line. I mean, and then right on the next page you have more painterly-esque pages, artwork, panels. But yeah, still some nice flat colors with some simple gradients to help define the form. I don't know some of these, or I forget them. So I'll talk about what we see, but I'll flip through a page like this, and this is what captivates me all the time. Look at this page. This turns into art. This is like story, but it's art as well. Just the way that these lines work on the page, man, they captivate me. There's so many books that I'll just read, and you just flip the page, just read the story, flip the page. No, with Hellboy, I read the page and I'm like, God, look at the way that line turns, and I love line work. I love line work. Anyway, so let's flip through some more of this. See if I can hit another thing that kind of pops out. Oh, God, look at this, man. Just look at that. Look at this. It's so good. Oh, my God. I love this art. Let's flip through some more. Ooh. Okay, let's just keep going. I got other trades to show, man. Oh, I don't want to spoil myself, though. Okay, let's look at what's at the tail end of this. Oh, now some Hydra creature or something. There's another nice one right there. You see how he does it? Like he just put space, man. He's a master of space and shapes and anyways, it's great stuff. So we got some sketches, more sketches, and some notes about them. Character design, monster design. Sometimes they'll talk about where he got the ideas, like where the folklore that influenced it. I'm a huge fan of folklore. Done a lot of reading myself, and I would say that's one of the major why this, again, I think I said that early on, why this is has always been a massive influence. It's because I also love sprinkling folklore into storytelling, or if I'm doing a tabletop game or whatever, like it's just some fun stuff, like across all cultures. Like there's fascinating stuff all over the place, and Mike Mignola goes everywhere for his folklore as well. So this one, okay, so let me talk. This one got super confusing because when I saw how all of this was collected, all of the trades, there's no continuity to the way that the trades were collected in this. So it starts with 2 stories from trade 7, so the Troll Witch. So 2 stories come out of this, and then we go to the Baba Yaga story. So again, hopefully these are in continuity, so when I read this, I can actually it'll actually feel neat, because I'll get more of a, what part, where in the continuity Hellboy was when he was experiencing these stories, doing these investigations, etc., etc. So that's kind of neat. The next story comes from 11, which I threw on the ground. The next stories come from 4, so there's 3 stories from the Right Hand of Doom. So because these again are all collected, they're collected stories from single issues and stuff. We go back to 7, we go 3 from 11, we go to 10, which is also on the ground, and then 2 from 7, 10, and 7. So again, it doesn't matter to you guys, because it's going to make even less sense to you for me saying it. But 7, 7, 3, 11, 4, 4, 4, 4, 7, 11, 11, 10, 3, 7, 7, 10, 7. It's all over the place. But hopefully, in continuity, this will actually read better than having read them in here, because it would have been just these one shots and you're like, oh, they're just kind of nice stories, but I don't really know where that fits in with the lore, the canon lore of Hellboy. So I think this is going to be a kind of a neat experience to reread. I'm looking forward to it. Let's move on. So that takes us to volume 1, the Seed of Destruction. So nice Rasputin here, his arch nemesis, a Russian immortal. I presume it's based on the legend, so the core of it is based on the legend. Sorcerer, I believe allied with the Nazis. I think he's in the movie. I just don't know why I forget that. But okay, so we get straight into it. This is straight up. This is here. First introduction, if I recall correctly. Rasputin there. Yep. And then again, of course, Nazi scientists doing crazy crap, making things happen, summoning the Hellboy. Summoning I don't know how this exactly works, how you get like a child demon that gets summoned to the earth, but it happened. So there's children demon out down in hell. So there we go, early Hellboy. This is like where, I mean, that art style really does go back that far, 20 years of art that is very distinct like this. So let's quickly flip through all of this. This sort of this is all Mignola. Actually, I'll flip through it like this, because it'll give you kind of a sense of just how consistent this kind of art style is across the board. It's all Mignola, as far as I know. You can check the front credits for it, but so far, based on what I can take from just a snapshot of the page, it is all Mignola. So there you go. Just look at that color. Oh, that's when they were. Yeah, I love this character, Roger, I think his name is. Nice. And then he's like a golem. That was a great story. I really enjoyed it. People who are Hellboy fans will know what I'm talking about. And then for those who don't, I don't know. I'm just kind of babbling on about silly shit. So we have the BPRD right here. It's a great team shot. Just again, solid ink work. Like confident, it's like confident ink work is how I would put it. And I guess that's a one shot, or what, right at the back. Is that a bonus? It's like we've seen some sketches, and then we just had some bonus things stuck in there. And then we got some sketches, some character designs, like what influenced them. Some of that will appear in the trades as well, because they'll have to do some filler and stuff. But some great bonus stuff. So volume 1 includes things from trades 1, 2, and 3. So it's all of trade 1, which is the original story, the Seed of Destruction. It's all of 2, Wake the Devil, which is a part of the main story, and there's 2 stories from 3 that are also in this collected edition. For collected edition 2, this one's a little thicker. There you go. Strange Places is what this one is called. And we'll just flip through this one a little quicker because y'all get the point now. So so far I'm just going to do a snapshot. Yeah, this is all Mignola stuff. Yep, this is all flashing back. Oh, that's a good one, Lobster John. Let's just go. I have to. Lobster Johnson there. We've got Roger down there. The Golem. Great shot there. Lobster Johnson's great. That was like one of the novels I've read so far. I've read 2 Lobster Johnson. Something like that. Got his trades. He's a great, simple character. I think I heard he appears in the new movie somehow. I don't know how they did that because, anyways, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm just going to go on. There you go. See the colors? You just flip through this and you see the consistency of it and just like the art style and just how it feels, like the feeling of it. The primary colors popping out, the blue, you know, the reds. Oh, man. Look at that, huh? The yellows. So good. And then it's like it rarely goes into the secondary colors, like the green, the oranges, and the purples. Just very, very simple approach to color and design. Oh, man. So good. Just flipping through this, I feel like I need to reread them now. Okay, that's not Mignola, but that art is actually pretty good, too. If you here, let's get some of the glare off. I mean, it's horrible because you guys are getting a full shot, but let me see if I can get some angle here that's actually decent. There you go. Ish. Decent-ish. There you go. Sort of. I gotta have my finger in there to hold it. Okay, that's not. I haven't read this one though, so I'm not gonna look too deeply into it because I don't want to spoil myself. Why haven't I read this though? I feel like I have. Is there something in here I haven't? Yes, there is. There's definitely something in here that I have not read. Just sketches that led to the designs of the characters in the back, which is very typical. And then this one for Trade 2, we have the collected. We have this one right here. So we have 5. Strange Places, same name, book of the same name. So 5 gets added to this, 6 gets added to this, which is the Conqueror Worm storyline right here. It's pretty sweet. I like that cover too. Look at that. Oh man. And then what else? And then stories from 4, Trade 4, which is somewhere around there. The Right Hand of Doom gets added, the Box of Evil gets added, and there's a story that was not Mike Mignola in here that was not familiar to me is called Into the Silent Sea, which was one of those original graphic novels that were released that I had never read. So yay, I get to read something new. This is the mammoth of them. This is the thickest. This is the thickest of the trades. My God, this one's a beast. This one is an absolute beast, and this one's got a weird like scuffing on it, which I'm not a fan of, but okay, I'll accept it. And then again, you got the point now. This is all mostly Mignola. This is all Mignola. Like you'll notice the art has evolved a little bit. It's not so flat like the earlier stuff, right? There's the line work gets a little bit more detailed. The colors are still sort of primary. They're still sticking to the red, blue, yellow for this long. This is like in, I don't know, the 10th year, 15th year of the series, but you can definitely tell it's evolved. Got some muted colors in there. The muted colors start, the color evolves a little bit in the BPRD has a lot more stuff, but this particular IP has always been very consistent with the artwork, which is very rare nowadays in the industry. So there you go. Oh, that's a good one. Look at that. Oh, I remember this. Nice. This is where everything starts going super apocalyptic-ish. The storyline stuff. Some crazy stuff starts happening, if I remember correctly. Okay, yeah, I don't want to even show these pages because this will spoil some stuff for the tail end of what happens with the Hellboy storyline. I definitely don't want to spoil some of the stuff. I'm going to check the last few pages for the bonus content. Let's see if there's anything super unique. So yeah, the back of this talks about, again, same stuff, some sketches, some design notes about the characters and whatnot. And how, yeah, I mean, just some interesting, neat details. Just, you know, from a creator perspective, just to kind of know the process the creators go through to sort of come up with the story elements or the design. I always love stuff like that. Even like introductions, which I actually realized there are none. Am I wrong? No. There's no introductions. So that's kind of a neat thing with all the trades. I think all of the trades have some sort of talk up front. Maybe I'm wrong with that too. I've got some memory of, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Anyways, we have, in this trade, we have trade 8 is in here. So trade 8 called Darkness Calls. This is one with, yeah. This is where everything starts to like pick up some steam, starts really talking about some lore of Hellboy that I don't think is really easy to predict. Trade 9, The Wild Hunt. That's a big one. I'm going to put this down now because I'm going to start touching cursed trades. Trade 12. This is the last one of the entire stack here. The Storm and Fury. Some of these might be salvageable. I can still kind of flip through it, but at the spine, it's like a brick at the spine. So these guys, this one's gotten mangled as well. Bye-bye, trade. It was nice knowing you. And that brings us to volume 4. A little bit thinner of the stack. And the price obviously changes based on how many pages is in the book. Damage-wise, the shipping was decent. Not too many odd scuffles and stuff like that. A little bit on the spine, but it's actually pretty good. Let's take a look at the cover here. There you go, some simple artwork. So this is where, this is Hellboy Omnibus 4, but it actually collects the Hellboy in Hell miniseries, which I haven't read. It comes after all of that stuff I just said about on Omnibus 3 that starts happening. And so it collects Hellboy 1 through, well, it says number 1 to 10, but it's the miniseries goes 1 to 4, and then there's, like, I guess, a bunch of single issues that happened. But they all, I'm afraid to even flip through this because I don't want to spot myself at this point. But here, let's just let's do a quick one. Let's just see what very quickly. Let's see what the art looks like. Okay, so we're still sticking with very Mignola-esque line work and artwork, so nothing's really changed there, which I like. I want. I'm going to just flip a bunch. Is that the Witchfinder right up there? Don't know. I have no contacts. Going to move on. So this collects the Hellboy in Hell 1 through 10, The Exorcist of Vorsk, and then something called The Magician and the Snake, which I didn't find any reference anywhere else for anything called The Magician and the Snake. So this is probably the most recent of the either miniseries or I don't know, it's part of some other collection, but I'm unfamiliar with it. And again, I'm just being a little bit careful for my own sake here. We've got some creature design, which is neat. Armor design, more creature sketchbook stuff. Ooh, I'm flipping through a lot of creature sketchbook stuff. There's probably, I don't know, 20 pages worth of sketches, characters. Yeah, some creatures. I've seen some of these, so some of them feel like, or I feel like they are, at least the designs are consistent. So I've got none of the trades that make up this one, which I'm excited about because that means I got new content for this investment. And to be honest, at 40% off, it's not that bad. It would have been about $25 American and $34 Canadian. I got these for about 20 bucks each. I forget exactly the amount, with tax and stuff like that. Canada always sucks more than America, but that's why when I go to conventions in the States, I come back with a haul because the prices are always better because of the taxes. Unfortunately, I'm a little worried to put these on the shelf because these are bigger, which means I don't have the plastic to put them in. I don't have a way to preserve these, so I might actually have to put them on a different shelf that's nowhere near any windows, and I don't want it near any humidity. I want these things protected and safe. So I'm going to keep them around here, around this section of wall. And yeah, I can't wait to read these. The other ones are in plastic, the big hardcover books. I got BPRD, Hell on Earth, and Ape Sapien collections. And I can't wait to open those ones. I've got a couple of those collections. I'll pull them out, sure. We got like Lobster Johnson, Iron Prometheus. Thankfully, this one, but see, I can already smell it again. This one's safe. It was in plastic, thank goodness. But unfortunately, this one's bad. The Burning Hand, great book, but I got nailed on the spine there. It's almost perfect, but I can smell it, which means something's happening. Yeah, see, some of the pages won't turn right down there. The arts, I can probably salvage some art out of this, but unfortunately, it's mangled. It's gone. So this is another one. Gotta go bye-bye. Oof, not going on the ground. And then I have another 3. So I'm not too sad about these, because I don't know, they got damage in shipping, but we got BPRD Hell New World. These were actually great too. So we got some damage here. I can still flip through them, I can still read them, but again, I can smell that there's damage. There's some wobbliness that happened here because of the moisture damage, but in shipping it just got some heavy dings here. This one got a whole corner like mangled on it up there, which I'm not a big fan of. I can still flip through it. The spine's a little bit crippled. But yeah, that was volume 2 right there. Volume 3, I think, Russia, yeah. And volume 2, Hell on Earth. Oh man, God and Monsters. So again, Ape Sapien appears. Anyways, really good book, but look at it. I mean, it won't even, it's hard to bend. But I can flip through it. I can salvage some art. This is John Arcudi is the artist. That's right. Guy Davis. Yeah, this team is great. Here, let's flip through some. I'll show you the kind of the art difference. So a whole different art style, more cartoonish. See that? But it still becomes like, it starts to take on the spirit of this particular book. And I mean, I really like that. I really like the illustration style there. It's very dynamic. Yeah. It just felt good. So I bought these because of the art. I bought them to try them, and then I stayed on it because of the art. And I'm not going to pull the other 20 stacks out there. I have the entire BPRD run and the first a couple of trades for Ape Sapien. They've all been saved, but because of this crazy ass deal on hardcovers, I bought them all as well, and we'll feature those in a different video when I can get into them. Maybe I'll read them. Maybe we'll turn that into a different kind of video where I will review the book or the stories that happen in them or something like that. So as I'm going to wrap this video up, it's been long. It's longer than I thought, but there was a lot of stuff to talk about. I want to wash my hands again because I just smell mold. I just smell stuff all over. I don't want it on my books. So I'll talk to you all soon. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy.